Hello everyone, welcome to the corner. I'm just doing a quick follow-up. I finished the tutorial last week and I remembered after I did it that I forgot a few key points to let you know something. When you're doing the channeling and body dropping on a vehicle, one thing you've got to keep in mind or remember at the end is your seats. Sometimes when your seats go in there, when you channel a car, your seats will end up being almost to the roof of the car. With dropping, taking the interior or the floor pan up inside the car, you have to take about the same amount that you took off of the sectioning, not sectioning, the channeling portion of it. So you're going to have to take off probably the same amount off of the seats. Now on seats like this where they have a reveal on them, like this one has this reveal right here, a lot of times you can come in and you can cut that much, cut this lower half completely off of the seats. And that'll give you the amount that you need to drop the seats or keep the seats low enough to where they're not into the roof of the car. Coming around the side, you can do the same thing. But what you're doing is just measuring, kind of keeping the same amount that you took off of the interior tub. Take the same amount off of the seats. Back seats are the same thing. You can come across, cut them out. Now, one thing to keep in mind, too, is the center hump where the drive shaft would go on a rear-wheel drive car. You're going to have to take this up about the same amount. And a lot of times, all you can do is just chuck your Dremel with a bigger drum on the Dremel. Run that Dremel right straight up inside like this. You know, basically just running it up inside that slot or the keyway and just keep going up until your Dremel hits the top of your line, wherever your line is. You can do that. I mean, the same thing goes on the front seat as well. You're going to want to heighten the arch, take that arch up a little bit higher. That way when this sits down in there, you got room for your drive shaft, your center hump. That'll get you going in that right idea right ballpark idea on that. Another thing I forgot to mention last time was the rear package tray, the rear shelf back here. The interior piece is this one. And a lot of times when you do a body drop or a channel, that interior, that rear package tray, ends up being a little short. Right now, this one is going to end almost at the front, the front part of the back window. You can see the edge right here. It's going to end there, and then to put the stock kit piece in, sometimes will be okay, and it'll fall in just right. This one I think would. Other times, you may find yourself a little short, so you can take a piece of sheet styrene. You can trace your pattern out on a piece of sheet styrene, add a little bit to the front, and then you can chop it off, as you go in, to kind of find where you need to be to shorten it up. But looking at this, I think the kit piece will actually be okay. We'll end up nipping these little nubs off of here and actually setting it down, gluing it right on the top edge of that rear bulkhead. A lot of times you just nip it off and then sand it down smooth. Take your sanding stick or sanding pad, whatever you use. And what we'll end up doing is we'll just take and glue that right straight to the top edge of that. And a lot of times what I do is I'll glue it, super glue it, and hold it. And I'll come in from the bottom side and I'll take a piece of sprue and lay a piece of sprue up into the elbow, or where do you want to call it? Hold on. All right, just pull the interior tub off. I wanted to show you, give you a little bit better idea what I'm looking at here, pointing to. A lot of times when you put the rear shelf, the rear package tray on, sometimes just gluing it like a butt glue or a butt edge where you have just two pieces flat together. A lot of times that's not going to be strong enough. So a lot of times I'll take a bead of super glue along the bottom of here, then I'll just take a piece of sprue and glue it in on the back side. Basically just laying it in here like this. And then I'll super glue over top of that and then let that just kind of be just an extra added support to hold this, to keep this from, as you're sanding or working on it, from snapping off and breaking off. It'll just avoid a lot of the frustration that you'll run into if you run into that issue, like I have many times. So yeah, that's just a couple things I wanted to touch bases. I forgot to mention last time in the last video, just so you, when you got to that point where you knew, wondering, trying to figure out, okay, now what do I do next? At least that way you know how to kind of finish off the interior portion of everything. Next week, I'm hoping to get into another segment. We're going to start the sectioning next. That's where this resin body I have is going to come into play. And we're going to probably go either 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch out of the body. And I'll show you how to do that next time. I wanted to do the body drop channeling just to kind of show you how to do the interior prior to starting the sectioning segment. Reason being is, one, instead of doing it twice, so to say, this way, you know, by doing it once through this one, at least that way you can kind of revert back to this video to learn, you know, remember how to do your interior when it comes to sectioning. When you section a car, the interior is going to be pretty much the same. You're going to take the same amount that you section the vehicle off of the bottom of your interior pan or your interior tub or door cards, or, you know, however your interior is going to lay out. If it's going to be a multi-piece like this one or a single, just one-piece interior tub, you'll take the same amount that you take out of your section off of your interior tub. That way, when it comes together, everything will come together properly. But I wanted, like I say, I wanted to show you this portion first. That way you kind of understood and knew how to do the interior work. And then the sectioning job, next video, I'm just going to show you how to section the body. Then I'll just, you know, remember to revert back to this one for the interior work. And you might have to do the same thing we did here on the chassis to get the chassis to fit up inside the body. Or if you can cut the interior, the top of the tubs completely off. That way you know you've got clearance to come up inside the body. However you want to do it, whatever. Like I say, each application is going to be different for each body style, each, you know, era of car. The 50s cars like these, you can kind of get by with the same idea, the same concept behind doing it. But a lot of your newer vehicles, like something like a 67 Shelby, you know, you're going to have a little bit different makeup in the back half of the body, to where you're going to be a little different. But we'll get into that when we start sectioning and cutting this up. And my son, Brian, also came up with an idea after this to kind of segue into it, being that we're going to be cutting this entire body. We're going to cut this body from front all the way down the side to the back. We're going to come back, we'll step down, step up, and then come over to take 1/4 inch out of this entire body. So when this thing's all said and done, we're going to probably have 3 pieces of this body laying on the table. It'll be this lower half, and then the upper half of the body all sitting there separate. And being that we're doing that, Brian, my son, had an idea of coming into kind of segue this into that video. The next tutorial after this one will be an altered wheelbase drag car. Same concept, you're cutting the top off the body, but you're actually cutting the rear fenders and the front fenders, the wheel well openings, out, and then moving them forward to make an altered wheelbase drag car. So that'll kind of be that will be the tutorial after the sectioning tutorial coming up. Just so you kind of know what's coming ahead. We've also got a couple tutorials kind of lined up, slated to come in to follow all that. So we'll be kind of up to speed here. So, but today I also want to send out a shout out to Rick Zinck. He sent me a shop card and just wanted to share it here with you. Skeletal Remains, Scale Auto Restoration. Pretty cool looking little shop card here. This is pretty cool. A lot going on there. I like the skeleton riding the funny car chassis like an old Roman chariot. Kind of cool. This guy's laying down on a job, just enjoying a bottle of cold beverage there and having fun. And I've never drank, but it kind of reminds me of some of my garage days of just hodgepodge, just going nuts with everything. Kind of cool. But he also wrote a little something on the back here. Just said, thank you for supporting my channel. Keep having fun with the hobby. Many thanks, Rick. You do the same as well, Rick, as well as everybody out there. all my subscribers, anybody's subscribers for that matter. If you subscribe to any modeling channel on YouTube, I just want to say thank you to all of you for supporting everybody. It is a lot. I mean, it means a lot to everybody to support our hobby, to keep our hobby going. I don't see any signs of it fading out anytime soon because it's getting to be, well, it still is a huge hobby. Not near as what it was back when I was a kid growing up, but I mean, it's probably gotten a little bit bigger. But thank you to Rick, and thank you to everybody out there for all the subscribers, all the people watching, the viewers, the ones that don't subscribe, even if you're just watching just to watch. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching all the videos of anybody's model cars. And with that in mind, hold on one second. Alrighty, just wanted to double check, make sure there wasn't anything else on my list to say. With that in mind, just relaxing and having fun hanging out with you guys. So thanks for stopping by. Take care, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll see you on the corner. Take care.